Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 5th of November. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some whatever you learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, great. Let's have a look at the ES chart, where we've got a 60-minute buy signal, which is trying to fix at the moment. I'm wondering about a retest of this low here, but I'm liking a rally from here, and this is a rally which could potentially go all the way back to the high. Looking at NQ, the same. Buy signal trying to fix. RTY, the same. Buy signal currently trying to fix. We've got a double top which is broken down here with a target in the 2292, 2300 range. Now, if these all fix, then that's a pretty good indicator that we're probably going to see a decent rally here. This isn't a clean sweep. We don't have a buy signal on forming on YM. We don't have one on. Actually, we do have one on DAX. So that actually could give us a fourth. And we don't have one on ESTX. So we can get 4 out of 6, which is generally a pretty reliable rally. We will see how that goes. In terms of a bottoming pattern, I'm still not seeing one. We could go up to 68.50 here and pull back and form a right shoulder and give an IHS, which could get us potentially back to the high. Equally, if we wanted to form a smaller one, we could come back here and retest the overnight low and set up a double bottom there. But of course, that wouldn't be a double bottom on the bigger picture chart. But we will see how that goes. I am liking a rally from here, and I'm thinking this is a rally that could potentially go back all the way to the high. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts here. So while we're doing that, we'll just open these in the background. Right. Okay. Let's. We almost made it to the daily middle band yesterday. Oh, I will have a post out today in the next 2 or 3 hours, but we almost made it back to the daily middle band. We did make it back to rising support here, the rising wedge support. Now, potentially, of course, this could take us back up into, we haven't seen a break. I'm hoping to see a break in RTH because that sets up the retest of the high as the obvious next target to set up a small double top. But if we don't see that, then potentially I redraw the trend line. We could be getting back towards a trend line up in this area here, so relatively at marginally new highs. Looking at the Qs, didn't quite make it back to the daily middle band, didn't make it back to the rising wedge support, but nonetheless, the action we've seen so far this week has definitely not been discouraging for the idea that these wedges are topping out and going to break down. In terms of I've mentioned on the bigger picture, but I'll mention it again here. If we were to see, because of the size of this rising wedge this has gone up over 2,000 points from the April low. We started off at 48.35 and we've got up to 69.20. If we were to see a decent retracement of this move, I'd be seeing that at least getting back to the 38.2% in the 61.50 area. But ideally, that would take us back to the 50% level, which would be at about the 58.90 area. That's a big move. And we don't have any topping patterns forming at the moment, which could get us that far. We will see, but I'm thinking we could start that off with a double top here, which could then take us back to this bigger head and shoulder neckline here in the 65.50 area. Looking at Dyer, didn't make it back to the daily middle band, didn't make it back to wedge support either, but again, not discouraging. We've got an RSI 5 buy signal fixed here on the hourly. We've also got a number of 15-minute buy signals. RSI 14 and RSI 5 buy signal fixed on SPX last night. Qs, RSI 14 and RSI 5 buy signal fixed. Don't think we have anything on Dyer. No, we didn't. These could all be bull flags. We could be setting up for a retest of the high, so I'll be watching with great interest to see how strong these rallies are. All right, let's have a look at IWM. And IWM, we have on the hourly chart, on the daily chart, we had already broken below the daily middle band, and we've got to the pretty much to the daily lower band here. We're not obviously going to on any of these see high retests, which can give us daily RSI 5 sell signals, which is disappointing. Because obviously we went down too far yesterday. Here on IWM, the double top hasn't broken down yet, but it's very close. And on the hourly chart, no current divergence. Looking at DAX, DAX, we've got a weak RSI 14 sell signal has reached possible near miss target. That's probably out of play here. I would have knocked it off if it had reached a 70 level here. But we've got a flag, broke up, retested the high. We've got a very nice looking double top here. Looks like time we should see a bit of a rally at least, because we must be getting pretty close to the 3SD lower band. But we've got a very nice looking double top here, which is still very much in play. And Nikkei, we saw a weekday yesterday, but hasn't really got this far off the top. I'm watching the possible RSI 14 sell signal with interest. We will see. All right, let's have a look at DX. And DX, we're actually testing. I've got double bottom support, double bottom resistance in the 100.26 area, and we are actually testing that on the daily chart. I think that's going to break up. I'm liking the chances we get up to the target area, which would be in the 104.05 to 15 area. Looking at ZB, ZB wondering about a bit more rally here, looking at the TNX 60-minute chart, but it looks as though we might be done here. The buy signal had made target here. I'd like to see continuation lower and a move down to the target here for the head and shoulders, which is in the 116 area. I think it's a pretty good chance we're going to do that. Looking at ZN, this looks like a bear flag forming. I'm expecting to see at least retest this low, and then ideally a move back to the head and shoulder target in the 112.14 area. Looking at CL, CL, this is looking like a bullish consolidation at the moment. A flag setup which is likely to result in a retest this high. We may or may not see a fail of this double bottom on the way, but I don't think that's the main pattern forming here. HO has gone higher. RBOB has gone higher. Both of these, neither of these really has a decent looking topping pattern here at the moment, although we could have the start of one forming. NG has been going higher even as we've been on the 60-minute sell signal, but the 60-minute sell signal is getting close to the target. I'm wondering about a move up into about 4.7 area here, and that could conclude the seasonal rally that I've been talking about for months, which goes into just early December. Looking at GC, GC, we are consolidating, waiting for a decision as to whether we're going to go down to these bigger targets here on GC, silver, and palladium. This looks like bearish consolidation that will set up at least a retest of this low here at 3,900. We could see that move down. There's a lot of talk of, oh, the bull market's over and this is too big. It's not too big. Big bull markets tend to last quite a while, and they tend to involve some fairly hairy retracements. This could be one of those, but it doesn't necessarily need to get any lower. Looking at SI, we've got a target down here in about the 39.40 area, and I've been watching to see if this head and shoulders would fail. It hasn't yet, but we are maybe forming an IHS which could then kill that, kill this head and shoulders and take us back towards the highs. Palladium, again, watching to see if this failed. It hasn't failed yet. Got a weak 60-minute buy signal fix, which has almost reached the possible near miss target. Platinum looks like a bear flag, which forming might be starting to break down. HG, we saw a double top breakdown. We've made the target. We've got a 60-minute buy signal fix, and this almost too small to mark in, really. But that's a little IHS, which is on the verge of breaking up with a target in the monthly pivot area at 5.06. Sorry, I'll just mark that in and color it. So I'm expecting to see a rally here, and I'm expecting to see that with a rally on equities here. Right, looking at KC. KC still leaning towards seeing a retest of this high. SB, the buy signal made the possible near miss target. Sorry, I haven't marked that incorrectly there, but we've got a potential double bottom here, and I'm wondering, it's not a bad looking setup, and I'm thinking this might break up, make the test of the monthly pivot, and may get to the full target, which would be at about the 15.5 area. Looking at CC, still looks like a bear flag forming on cotton. Cotton, we've seen an exact touch of this alternate rising megaphone, and I think this rising megaphone is likely to be the correct pattern. I think this is a flag, and it's going to be setting up a retest of this low. We will see whether we see a breakdown next. We still, until we see a breakdown below this low here, which is the right shoulder low for the IHS, and I've got that in about the 64.35 area, and still we see that, this IHS and the target at 68 are still valid. Lumber. Lumber, we're seeing a bit of a rally, but I'm thinking we'll probably resume the downtrend afterwards. On ZW, I think we could be looking at a very big breakup here on both wheat and corn in progress. Corn looking slightly less enthusiastic about this, but the double top broke down, hasn't made target. This looks like a bullish consolidation. Looking at soy, I think we might be breaking up here because the Chinese are going to buy 12 million tons of US soybeans. Obviously, they bought 25 million last year, but it looks like they might be back to 25 million next year. So that's been good for soy prices. Possible topping action, but may well break up further. On ZL, we've got a flag here, broke down, made target, possible double bottom, and we've now got a possible IHS forming that can take us back to that double bottom resistance. Watching with interest, looks fairly bullish. No current divergence. Live cattle, this was a decline really on the plan to buy Argentinian beef. Personally, I'm not sure that Argentinian beef is going to be bought because this is a very, very unpopular plan. If that's the case, that might head back up to the high. Short term, I'm leaning towards seeing a retest this low here in the 222.6 area. Looking at lean hogs, we've got a very nice looking falling wedge forming here, and I think that's got a decent shot of delivering a big rally soon. We've got a weak 6-minute buy signal fixed. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions, of which we have none. In that case, should be an interesting day. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.